Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, and we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to our website, sign up for a free membership if you like these videos. You want live intraday action. You'll get email alerts and some trade ideas as well, and a little bit of education on how to read the charts. So let's get right to the daily SPY. And again, just consolidating from back in December. I mean, just sideways. We got below, came right up, got below, came right back up. Here we are, just kind of floating sideways. Not a bad bullish pattern. If you are bullish and long in these markets, you're looking to get through these highs, 230 area, and then the 232, 233 up in here with the trend line, and then ultimately maybe 235, 236, but it's got to get above these areas. You got some great resistance up here. Now you got a gap fill that it just added from 5-6 days ago here, but again, above the 20 MA, the 50 and the 200, not in a bad position at all. If it starts getting below the trend line, I think we're going to go to the 50 gap fill. And then I'm ultimately thinking down here around 215. So if you're bullish, above this trend line. If you're bearish, you need to get above this gap fill in this low pivot, and then I think we'll have lower prices. 618, you have a trend line, and you got the 200. This is like a big magnet area. This thing sets up sideways here, gets below. I think we could crack down coming here, no problem. Possibly lower, again, higher. You want to get above here, and then possibly higher prices. So right now, just waiting for pattern. If you go on the weekly chart, again, we're right into that trend line, popped up, came back in, holding this trend line. That's the lower one. So, it's still consolidating. I would have liked to seen more follow through on this greenish candle, but maybe we go sideways again, and then maybe the next pop up into this area. So that, again, long, you need to get above these trend lines, and then bearish, you might get down here, maybe the 219, 220, and then you have a gap fill down here. But ultimately, I could see it coming down to this trend line around the 215 area. That'd be a pretty good buy area, maybe. But we'll have to see how this thing reacts if it goes up or down. Let's get into the IWM. And then the volume too, 69 million on a day. A little bit of whipsaw action during the intraday. So that looks like possible distribution. Again, not bad bullish pattern here on the IWM weekly. We are chopping around, but I did like this down sideways where it's slightly bearish too. And it is let's keep an eye on this. We're back below the trend lines here. We're in this channel. Again, we need to get it back above the channel. Let's go to the daily really quick. You can see a little bit better there. Here's the trend line and trend lines and everything. You can't even see it better here. Let's open it up a little bit. So yeah, so we've been going up and down in this channel here. We got above it, came right back in, got above it again, came right back in again. You have the 750 retrace here. So as a bull, you want to get above this area and above this pivot, and then I think you can attack the highs, maybe even get to you're definitely going to get to the 140 if it breaks out. If it stays in this channel, starts heading down to the lows again like it's been doing, then once we break this pivot and possibly get out of this channel, I'm thinking 130. Then you have a couple gaps to fill down here, but we'll see once we crack this channel. If we go that way, then we'll reevaluate and see how this reacts with the gap fill, these pivots here around the 130, then see how it sets up from there. Too early, nothing wrong. It is back below the moving averages though, so you got to keep an eye on that one. We looked at the weekly a little bit earlier. Daily chart on the Qs, again, just chopping around. We did stop up in this area, so now we're just kind of going sideways above the MAs, strong stance. I would have liked to seen a little bit of more of a wedge and then the pop up, but again, another pop up and a drop back, and then they popped it up, and now with Amazon earnings, down a little bit after hours, and well, I think like 35 bucks. It's not terrible for Amazon, but how do we come down 50 cents or a buck tomorrow on the Qs? We'll have to see. But again, nothing wrong. We're up into this trend line, so you have to respect that. Don't panic. We start getting to the 20 MA, then start slipping, then we'll have to rethink this and see where this thing can possibly go. But again, nice run up. We went from 114 to 126 or so. It's just chopping and grinding. Let's see if this actually starts to go sideways, maybe for the next move up, or does it go sideways for the next move down? This is the weekly chart. Nothing wrong with this, just chopping around, starting a new pattern. So we just got to keep an eye on that. The DIA. The DIA, same thing. Weekly chart, chopping around. We did have a breakout, came right back in. It's trying, got above that pivot, but never confirmed on a weekly basis. So right now we're still in this pattern, waiting to go up. Now, if this one starts to drop, and this is the DIA, you need to get below this trend line. Then you have a lot of support coming in down here. So nothing to really worry about if it does come down. Now, if it comes down through that support and just, slices through it, then you got to worry. So, let's go ahead though. Let's go from this pivot here. Let's go a little shorter time frame. All right, so you got some levels there with the fib. You got the 618 down in this area, so you have some good support, and then again, if you want to go higher, if you're a bull, you need to get above this 200 area, and then to keep marching, I want to see more volume than this, non-volume participation markets. I want to see conviction pushing up. Like after that big green candle, I would have liked to seen another one and then close up into this area. We just didn't get it, so just got to keep an eye on this. Right now, we're just kind of chopping around up and down, up and down. Daily chart. Not that the Dow's that important, but I keep an eye on it. People ask me to do it, so again, bullish pattern. It did pop, kind of a false breakout, came right back in. We're back below the 20, so you just got to keep an eye on this. It's still bullish. You're above the MAs here. You're back below the 20, but doesn't mean we can't pop up tomorrow. Again, Amazon had earnings a little bit weak. And earnings been coming in with tech a little bit weak. They kind of gap up and then just kind of, crawl back down, just a slow bleeder. So keep an eye on those as well. Let's get to the IYT and light volumes in this market as well. The IYT now on the daily, we talked about this and it got above the 20. It was chopping around, took off, went to double top, pulled right back, and gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would have been a great area to write puts. Oh my gosh, right puts or do a spread. Oh man, that was epic. 5 days back, you would have been out of the trade, but right now we're back into this support now, but we're back below the MA. So if this thing starts cracking this level, I'm going to say maybe 161 to say 160.74. If that level breaks, I'm going to stick this in here. I'm going to put it like right in the middle, right about there. Yeah, you know what? I gotta put it right at the pivot. So at this pivot here, that's 160.74, and then of course this area here where it's coming up. So let's wait for pattern, see if it's going to go sideways or does this thing start coming in. So again, tried breaking out right to double top and pulled right back, kind of like all aboard. Here we go again, down 20,000, and all of a sudden click, 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 click. Been in those on the wrong side before. It's like, dang. So yeah, we had a nice reversal candle. If we close down here tomorrow, that will almost engulf this last couple days here. Then if that, here's the 160.74, if that cracks, then we'll probably go into 157.24 down in this area, and then we're going to see where we go from there. If the everything breaks, starts to break down, then we're looking for lower prices. If you're a bull, you need to turn this thing around on the next weekly candle, or this one, maybe tomorrow it shoots straight up, recapture the all-time high, then maybe 176 or so. So either way, it's not a terrible pattern, but I don't like the fact that it just clicked and then turned around. So if you're long, just be careful with this one right now. Don't get worried, but it starts coming in, start thinking about taking some profits, or at least tightening the stop and know where you got to get out. But on the let's go to the USO weekly. USO weekly above that trend line, that's the one we would, the kind of line in the sand where they've been holding above. You are above the moving average as well, and not bad. This, we'll see where it closes tomorrow, but this is it's not in bad shape. I'm short with a small position on this one and the SCO. And just kind of sitting, waiting it out. I'm in share size, so it's not that big of a deal. And again, we came back in here. They bounced it back up. We're back above the 20 MA. We're back above the trend line, all the MAs actually. And we're trying to hit this upper pivot. We have a gap fill here, and then it's got to shoot for the $12 area. If it gets up there, we'll see how it reacts, because you can still go out to the 12.45 area. There's a couple more that I have up in here too, not on this chart, but 12.47, 45, that's another pivot, so we'll start looking at that. But right now, nothing wrong, but kind of down, sideways, kind of in a channel. Let's see if this is the high of the channel. If we come back in, keep an eye on that. Weekly chart, do we look at this? Yeah, weekly chart, as long as we're above the MAs and stuff, we're okay. So right now, nothing wrong. Still consolidating, a little bit rough here, but it's still above the MA, still in a strong stance. There's your 12.45 area. If you go back, then you can pull up maybe 13.40, 48, and up in here 15.42. But first, this is a big area right here around 12.50, so we got to see that first. Let's look at the UUP. It was up 3 cents on the day, so not a big deal. And that was up, and of course oil was up, so these are a little bit disconnected right now. But the UUP, the dollar chart, we are holding this 20 MA on the weekly. Let's see if we hold it. It did come back in. We're at this pivot still too. Let's see if we can close above these pivots on the weekly. And daily chart, nothing wrong. Just a pullback. I mean, it went up pretty good. You're thinking 24 bucks. It went up pretty good not to have a decent retrace here. Let's go to the weekly really quick. We have a little bit of time. Okay, we have the bigger one in there. 25. Yeah, so I guess at the 27. All right, so that's the weekly. Let's go to the daily again, your UP. Yeah, so you had a nice pullback. We got the shallow one, then finally we got one. We still haven't came back out and filled the gap. We did get a nice reversal today back up. Let's look at the intraday action. So during the day, it pretty much gapped down and then all day just grinded up. So, all right, got to keep an eye on that as well. Daily chart, nothing wrong. Let's see if we could come down, fill this gap down in here. We still have the 200, but right now, let's see if we could close it back above these pivots here, right around 25.80. All right, so that's the UUP, and then the GLD. GLD up 64 cents. We are staying above the 20 MAs. If you watch my videos, we talk about this. If we get below them, then a little more bearish coming down back into here. But as long as we stay above them, we're still consolidating. A little choppy, sloppy. Let's see if we could get some. I'd like to see a gap up possibly, and then shoot for this area. Just a good push up here. If it gets up in this area, I will sell half my position. If it definitely gets up into 125, 126, I'm going to sell it all. Well, maybe I'll sell a quarter and then hold a quarter. We'll see how it reacts once it starts getting up into these areas. All right, let me extend that one. And let's see, we're back above this. So we're trying to shoot for the 200. If we get above there and close and consolidate, then I'll rethink this upper area. But anywhere in this area, I want to at least sell half of my position here in gold. I don't mind it for long haul. If you want to hold it for long haul, people, a little bit longer, I don't mind it, but it might come back down with the markets if they get a little turbulent. So, or turbulence in them. And then the weekly chart on the GLD, right now we're in that 20 MA. On the weekly, I'd love to see a close above that. I mean, we're really, really close. I think that's like 116.13, so we're a little bit off, maybe about 30 cents or so. So let's see if we could gather some speed, or I'd like to see more chopping sideways and then a push up. Then if that's the case, I think we could go back to double top. So let's keep an eye on this, see how it goes around. But right now it's making another run to try to recapture that 20 MA. So keep an eye on that. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks again for watching my videos, and hopefully you're learning something, and I'm putting you on the right side of the trade. And if you're long, I'm showing you the areas of resistance. If you're short, if you want to short, here's your areas of support and stuff like that, different patterns. And this is what we're trying to teach here at StockBookie.com. So again, my name is John, and I am the Chief Market Strategist here at StockBookie.com. And again, thank you for following me on all my different sites. Go to my website, sign up, and all that good stuff. Again, thank you everybody for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And God bless, and see you on the charts.